Chosen one, before anything else, understand this. The energy around you has been echoing that you whooped the very force they sent, and now it's doubling back toward the people who unleashed it. That's why someone is staring at their phone right now, terrified to make a call they swore would never be necessary. And whatever was meant to break you has turned around completely. We're at the turning point. What was set in motion cannot be reversed. The line was crossed and now the consequences are closing in. But before we get to what's happening to them, you need to know how far this went. The very chaos aimed at you is swallowing them instead. There's a group of people sitting in a circle. All of them know you. Some are related to you. Some dated you. Some pretended to be your friend. Everyone present wants something you have or something you're blocking access to. Maybe there's inheritance involved, money that can't be accessed while you're alive and well. Maybe there's property, land that's supposed to flow to others, but you're in the way legally. Maybe you're with someone that others think belongs elsewhere, someone there's obsession with controlling. Maybe you have gifts that make others look ordinary. Maybe you know secrets others wish remained hidden. Whatever the reason, talking behind your back evolved into planning your destruction face to face. Ideas were brought to this meeting, ways of trying to break you that didn't work, ways of trying to sabotage you that you overcame. There was frustration. Nothing was stopping you. Nothing was slowing you down. Then someone mentions a name, a practitioner, someone who does real work, not social media hexes, not amateur spellcasting, real dark magic, the kind that costs real money and gets real results. Someone who knows how to summon entities and bind them to targets. Someone who's done this before successfully. The room gets quiet because everyone knows what's being discussed now. This isn't gossip anymore. This isn't just wishing bad things. This is active harm. This is murder by spiritual means. This is the kind of thing that if it works, you're not coming back from. One person hesitates, says maybe this is too far, maybe there should just be waiting to see if you fail on your own. But someone else shuts that down quick. You're not failing, you're succeeding, you're thriving, you're getting stronger. If something drastic doesn't happen, you're going to be untouchable. The window is closing. So agreement is reached, money is pooled, not small amounts, large sums total. Everyone contributes what can be spared. Some put in more because there's more invested in your downfall. Something of yours gets collected, hair from a brush, a piece of clothing, a photo, something that carries your energy. Someone close to you provides this, someone who had access to your personal space. The call gets made, a meeting with the practitioner gets set up. Either everyone goes together or a representative is sent. What's wanted gets explained, not just to make you sick or confused. You need to be destroyed, completely eliminated, either dead or so mentally broken you'll never recover. The practitioner listens, asks questions. What has this person done to deserve this? The group has reasons ready. You're in the way. You're a threat. You're blocking blessings. The practitioner doesn't care about morality, only about payment. The price is quoted. It's high, but payment is made, because to those gathered, you're worth eliminating. You're not some random target, but we'll get to that. First, you need to understand what happened next. The ritual happens on a specific night. Moon phase matters for this kind of work. The practitioner prepares the space, sets up the altar. Your photo or personal item is placed at the center. Candles arranged in specific patterns. Symbols drawn that most people wouldn't recognize. This isn't movie magic. This is ancient practice, the kind passed down through generations of people who work with forces most deny exist. The practitioner begins the invocation, calling something up from lower realms, something hungry, something violent, something designed for destruction. The entity responds because that's what it does, waiting to be called, waiting for permission to enter the physical realm and feed. Instructions are given, your name is spoken, your image is shown, your energy signature is locked in through the personal item. The entity is told what to do: possess this person, drive them insane, make them self-destruct, make them sick, make them die, whatever it takes, just destroy them. The entity accepts the assignment. Payment has been made in advance through the ritual. A target has been given. Release is granted to do what it was designed to do. The practitioner tells the group it's done. The entity has been sent. Now there's waiting for results. That night you might have felt something shift. Maybe you woke up suddenly. Maybe you had a nightmare so vivid it stayed with you for days. Maybe you felt a presence in your room, something watching, something hostile. That was the entity arriving, trying to find entry. The next stretch of time was rough. You felt heavy. Your thoughts got dark. Intrusive thoughts that didn't feel like yours. Sudden rage or anxiety or depression that came out of nowhere. You might have had impulses that weren't characteristic of you. Destructive urges, self-sabotaging behaviors. The entity was trying different entry points, trying to find weakness. You might have gotten physically sick, strange symptoms, fatigue that rest didn't fix, pain that moved around your body. Doctors couldn't find anything wrong, but you knew something was off. The entity was trying to attach through your physical body. You might have started acting out of character, saying things you didn't mean, hurting people you loved, making decisions that made no sense. This was the entity gaining ground, finding cracks in your armor, getting stronger while you got weaker. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. Every time the entity pushed forward, your protection pushed back harder. Every time it tried to enter through your thoughts, your ancestors cleared your mind. Every time it tried to attach to your body, your angels strengthened your immune system. Every time it tried to manipulate your emotions, your connection to Source stabilized you. The entity was getting frustrated. This wasn't supposed to be this difficult. Most targets don't have this level of resistance. Most people don't have protection this active. Most assignments are completed quickly. But you were different. You kept bouncing back, kept recovering, kept resisting without even knowing you were in a battle. Reports were being gathered. A spy was watching you. Maybe someone who worked with you. Maybe someone in your friend circle who was really working for others. Maybe a family member who'd betrayed you long ago. This person was reporting back. Yes, there's struggling. Yes, there's strange behavior. Yes, there's falling apart. The investment is working. Celebrations happened, bottles opened, toasts made to your downfall. Some felt guilty, but pushed it down. Some felt powerful for the first time. Some just felt relief that you'd finally be out of the way. Waiting began for the final news, the breakdown, the hospitalization, the funeral. The entity was trying methods it rarely had to use. Sleep deprivation, making you wake at specific hours, disrupting your rest so your defenses would weaken. But you'd pray, or you'd meditate, or you'd just sit in silence and something would restore you. The entity couldn't understand it. Attacks came through relationships, making you paranoid about people who loved you, planting seeds of distrust, creating conflict where there was none. But the real ones stayed. The solid relationships survived. The fake ones fell away, but that was actually protection. The entity was accidentally helping you clear your circle. Attacks came through finances, blocking opportunities, creating unexpected expenses, making money disappear in strange ways. But provisions kept coming. Help showed up. You made it through, even when the math didn't make sense. Something was providing for you that the entity couldn't block. Attacks came through your sense of self, making you doubt your worth, question your purpose, feel like you were going crazy. But something in you kept fighting back, some core part of you that couldn't be touched, some inner knowing that you were meant for more than this suffering. The entity reported back to the practitioner, this target has protection, strong protection. More time is needed, more energy, more power. The practitioner told the group, another ritual was needed, more payment required, more of your items needed. Intensity must increase. Some hesitated. This was getting expensive. This was taking too long. Maybe letting it go would be better. But others were committed. Coming this far, spending this much, turning back wasn't possible. So agreement came again. More money, more rituals, more attacks. but something was happening that wasn't expected, something that wasn't planned for, something that's about to make everyone involved wish your name had never been spoken. You were about to transform in ways that would make you completely untouchable. You have a bloodline nobody knew about, ancient warrior lineage, healers, seers, royalty in the spiritual sense, people who walked with the divine and passed that connection down through generations. That protection didn't end with them, it flowed through to you, dormant maybe, waiting maybe, but there, when the entity came for you, something activated, alarms went off in the spiritual realm. Your ancestors who've been watching over you since birth snapped to attention. What was being sent got recognized, death magic when seen, and movement into position happened. The entity hit a wall, not a metaphorical wall, an actual spiritual barrier it couldn't cross. Your ancestors formed a shield around you, war angels took position, the kind that don't negotiate with demons, the kind that have authority over every lower realm entity that exists. These angels weren't there to pray, being there meant fighting. The entity tried everything, tried to find weakness, tried to slip through cracks, tried to wait for moments when you were vulnerable, but every time closeness came, the barrier pushed back. Every time an opening seemed present, your protection closed it. Your ancestors weren't playing, your angels weren't sleeping. Something else was happening too, something you might not have realized. You were transforming during this attack. You started going within, started questioning things you used to accept, started releasing people and habits that kept you low frequency. You stopped partying like before, stopped engaging with toxic people, stopped blaming others for your pain, and took responsibility for your healing. Your frequency rose. The entity couldn't match it, operating as a low-frequency being, working in fear and chaos and destruction, but you were moving into clarity and peace and power. The gap became too wide, like trying to attach darkness to light, like trying to mix oil with water. Impossible. The entity kept trying, kept circling, kept probing, kept looking for entry. But your protection held, your transformation continued, your frequency kept rising. Eventually a choice had to be made. The entity chose survival. It turned around, and that's when everything changed for the group that sent it. This is where it gets interesting. This is the climax nobody planned for. The entity turns around and heads back. When summoning happens, a mission and payment are given. Payment was already made through the ritual and the money given to the practitioner. The mission was your destruction. But when the mission can't be completed, the entity still needs to fulfill its end of the deal, still needs to feed, still needs to destroy something. So going back to the people who summoned it happens, not to return money, not to report that the job can't be done, but to collect payment in a different way, through energy, through health, through sanity, through lives. The first person to feel it thought it was stress, couldn't sleep, started having the same nightmares wished on you, waking up in cold sweats, feeling watched, feeling hunted. This person tried to brush it off, tried to ignore it, but the feeling kept getting stronger. Something was in the space, something was in the mind, something was feeding. Another member of the group started getting physically sick, started experiencing the exact symptoms programmed into the entity to give you unexplained pain, mysterious illness, doctors running tests finding nothing. But the pain kept intensifying, the weakness kept spreading, draining was happening in real time. A different member started losing control mentally, started having violent outbursts, started saying things that didn't make sense, started seeing things that weren't there. The same insanity intended as a curse for you was manifesting in them. Family members were concerned, friends were worried, unraveling was happening fast. The group didn't connect it at first, thinking it was coincidence, bad luck, unrelated incidents. But then more people started experiencing similar things, and realization came. Something was wrong. Something was happening that shouldn't be happening. Something was coming. Someone finally called the practitioner, demanded answers. Why isn't the target destroyed? 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 Demanded answers. Why isn't the target? Why are we the ones suffering? What went wrong? The practitioner either didn't answer or gave excuses, said you must have stronger protection than expected, said the entity encountered resistance it couldn't overcome, said maybe another try was needed with more money. But some practitioners were honest, some looked into what was happening and saw the truth. That target is untouchable, that target has backing from forces we can't compete with, that target broke the entity's hold, and now it's returning to source, returning to the people who summoned it, and there's nothing that can be done to stop it. Some practitioners refuse to get involved further, seeing your protection meant wanting no part of the karma. The group got told they were on their own, deal with what you created, face what you called up, no help is available. Some practitioners even tried to cleanse themselves of the connection, tried to protect themselves from the backlash, but some were too deep in it. Some had touched something that shouldn't have been touched. The entity was now operating with freedom it didn't have before. See, when it was bound to you, it had to follow certain rules, had to try specific methods, had to work within the parameters of the spell. But now that rejection by its target happened, and release from that binding came, it's free to do whatever it wants to whoever summoned it. And entities like this are angry when failing, humiliated, frustrated, taking it out on whoever's available, and the people who summoned it are right there, open, accessible. Many don't even have basic protection because thinking they were the ones in control happened. Thinking they were the ones with power happened. Finding out otherwise is happening now. One member of the group started having accidents. Car wouldn't start at crucial times, things falling, tripping downstairs, near misses that kept getting closer. The entity was testing, seeing how far it could go, seeing how much damage could be caused before anyone noticed the pattern. Another member started losing money in ways that didn't make sense. Investments that were solid suddenly failed. Savings disappeared to unexpected expenses. Income streams dried up overnight. The entity was attacking through the material realm, taking what was valued, making loss felt the way you were supposed to feel loss. A different member started losing relationships. People known for years suddenly cut contact. Family members stopped speaking. Friends walked away without explanation. The entity was isolating, cutting off support systems, making vulnerability happen, making aloneness happen. Now the group is panicking. Emergency meetings are happening, trying to figure out what to do, trying to find someone who can help. But word travels in those circles. Word travels fast about groups that summoned entities they couldn't control, about people who attacked targets under divine protection, about situations that went catastrophically wrong. No one wants to touch it. No one wants that karma. No one wants to risk angering whatever forces protected you. Because if your protection is strong enough to turn a death entity around, then it's strong enough to destroy anyone who helps your enemies. Practitioners know this. Staying away is happening. The group starts falling apart. Unity that existed when plotting your destruction is gone. Now turning on each other is happening. Blaming each other. Who brought up the idea? Who found the practitioner? Who contributed the most money? Whose fault is it that this backfired so spectacularly? Friendships end. Family relationships shatter. The group dissolves into chaos. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random. And if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your destiny engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Some want to reach out to you, want to confess, want to apologize and beg for forgiveness, thinking maybe if coming clean happens, you'll call off your ancestors or your angels, not understanding you didn't send anything after them, not understanding you didn't curse back, not even knowing the full extent of what was done until recently. This is just divine justice in motion. This is the universe balancing scales. This is what happens when spiritual law gets violated. Others want to try again, want to find another practitioner, want to double down on the attack, convinced just needing more power, more money, better magic, not understanding making it worse is happening. Every new attempt adds to karma. Every spell cast comes back multiplied. Every ritual performed digs graves deeper. The entity is feeding well now. Multiple sources, multiple energy supplies, growing stronger off fear, off desperation, off suffering, might stay for years, might follow until fully satisfied, might not leave until everything gets taken. And through all of this you're thriving, you're healing, you're getting stronger, you're stepping into gifts you didn't know you had, you're walking in purpose, you're successful in ways that were never wanted for you. Watching it all happen while falling apart is mandatory, while the demon scent is collecting, while lives unravel in real time, while others are falling apart, you're waking up. This is the part nobody saw coming. The attack didn't just fail, it activated you, it initiated you into a level of power and awareness you might never have accessed without the pressure. You're seeing through people now. Someone smiles, and you know exactly what they're thinking. Someone acts friendly, and you sense the real agenda. You walk into rooms and immediately know who's for you and who's against you, not by what gets said, by what gets felt, by what you see with spiritual eyes that are now wide open. You're sensing energy like never before. You know when someone's done magic against you. You feel when someone's talking about you. You pick up on spiritual attacks before fully manifesting. This makes you nearly impossible to catch off guard, nearly impossible to surprise, nearly impossible to harm. Your power isn't just defensive anymore. You're stepping into authority. When you speak, things shift. When you pray, things move. When you decree, things manifest. You're operating as a conduit for divine will, as a representative of forces that don't lose, someone who carries weight in both seen and unseen realms. Someone close to you was working with them, someone you trusted, someone who had access to your space, your energy, your personal items. This is how what was needed for the ritual got obtained. Could be someone who acted like family, could be someone who claimed to be your friend, could even be someone who acted like they were your romantic partner, your divine counterpart, your twin flame. All that spiritual language while secretly working against you the whole time. This person was feeding information, your schedule, your weaknesses, your struggles, when you were vulnerable, when you were alone. This person was positioned as your friend, but operating as a spy. Every conversation you had was being reported back. Every confidence you shared was being used against you. This person might have even encouraged certain behaviors, encouraged drinking more, partying more, making questionable decisions, because the lower your frequency, the easier you'd be to attack. The more chaos in your life, the less you'd notice something supernatural happening. This person provided something of yours for the ritual, hair from your brush, a piece of clothing you thought you lost, a photo you didn't know got taken, something with your DNA or energy signature. Handing it over willingly happened, participated in the plan to destroy you while smiling in your face. You might have suspected something was off about this person, might have gotten weird vibes, might have felt like genuineness wasn't there, but you talked yourself out of it, gave benefit of the doubt, didn't want to seem paranoid or judgmental. Now you know your intuition was right. This person was asking strange questions, questions about your family history, about your spiritual practices, about your dreams, about your beliefs. You thought it was just interest, just being a good friend, just trying to know you better, but intelligence was being gathered, reporting back to the group about everything you shared was happening. Your heightened discernment is showing you who this person is now. You're seeing clearly, seeing energy, seeing true intentions. You might not confront directly, might not need to, because your protection is keeping distance, making discomfort around you happen, making being in your presence hard. This person is having nightmares now, dreams where you know everything, where you confront, where you expose publicly, waking up in panic, wondering if the dreams are prophetic, wondering if you already know, wondering when the hammer will drop. Paranoia around you now exists, watching everything said, overthinking every interaction, trying to read your energy to see if suspicion exists. This paranoia is exhausting, making sloppiness happen, making obviousness happen to people who are paying attention. You're a threat to systems built on lies. You see through manipulation, you call out deception, you refuse to play games that keep people enslaved. You speak truth even when it costs you relationships, even when it makes you unpopular, even when it puts a target on your back. You can't help it, it's who you are. You're a healer, operating at levels most people don't understand. Not just physical healing, you help people heal from trauma they didn't even know they had, from spiritual attacks they didn't recognize, from generational curses passed down through family lines. You have wisdom about wellness that will free many people from systems designed to keep them sick and dependent. You're a liberator. You're here to help people break free from mental prisons, from limiting beliefs programmed into them since childhood, from spiritual bondage that's been normalized as just the way things are. You carry keys that unlock doors people forgot existed. This makes you valuable to the divine and extremely dangerous to darkness. You're a seer in the truest sense. You see what's hidden, patterns others miss, agendas operating behind friendly facades, spiritual realities most people deny exist. This gift allows you to guide people away from traps and toward truth, to warn about danger before manifesting, to expose what operates in shadows. You're a way shower. You're going first into territories others will follow, breaking trails, setting examples, proving what's possible when you stay aligned with Source instead of bowing to corrupt systems. Your life is a testimony. Your survival is evidence. Your victory is proof that divine protection is real and dark magic is powerless against it. You're being watched by more than just your enemies. Forces exist that monitor people like you. People with gifts, people with unique DNA, people who have abilities that defy normal explanation. Not to harm you, to observe, to see what you'll do with your power, to see if using it for good happens or corruption happens. This is why your protection is so strong. This is why you survived what should have destroyed you, because you have a role to play, not just for yourself, not just for your immediate circle, but for everyone who'll be impacted by your mission, everyone who'll be freed by your truth, everyone who'll be healed by your gifts. The group that attacked you accidentally did the world a favor. Forcing you to wake up happened. Forcing you to step into power happened. Forcing you to recognize what you carry happened. Now you're a threat that can never be neutralized. Now you're operating at a level that can never be reached by them. Now you're protected by forces that can never be overcome by them. Watch what happens next. Because divine justice doesn't just sound good in theory, manifesting in real time is happening, in ways that can't be denied, in ways that make everyone watching know exactly what's happening and why. The person who orchestrated this is facing consequences first and hardest, could be experiencing health issues that mirror what was wished on you, could be losing the very things that were trying to be protected by eliminating you, money disappearing, relationships ending, reputation crumbling, status dissolving, everything valued slipping through fingers. This person is waking up to the same oppressive feeling programmed into the entity to give you that heaviness, that dread, that sense of something watching, something waiting, shaking it can't happen, escaping it can't happen. It follows everywhere, into the home, into the car, into the workplace. No safe space exists anymore. The practitioner who performed the ritual is either gone or will be soon. These people think immunity to consequences exists, think their knowledge protects them, but when touching someone under divine protection happens, signing your own death warrant happens, something sudden usually, something that sends a message to everyone in those circles about who can't be touched. If the practitioner is still alive, dealing with their own manifestations is happening. The entities worked with over the years are turning because failure at a major assignment happened, because guaranteeing results that couldn't be delivered happened, because taking payment for a job that couldn't be completed happened. In that world, failure has consequences. The spy who betrayed you is being exposed, not necessarily by you calling out, but by their own behavior, by the paranoia that's making strange acting happen, by the guilt that's eating alive. People are noticing something's off, asking questions, pulling away. Natural isolation is happening. Removal from positions where harming others can happen is occurring. This person is experiencing the same loneliness that was helped to be created for you, the same isolation, the same feeling of walls closing in, the same sense that everyone's against them, but in this case it's actually happening. People are actually turning away. Relationships are actually ending. Being cut off is actually happening. Each person who contributed money is losing in the area valued most. The one who cared about wealth most is having financial collapse, bank accounts draining, investments failing, income sources drying up. Watching security disappear and not being able to stop it is happening. Every move made to save makes it worse. Some are trying to make deals with the divine, promising to change, promising to be better, promising to never do anything like this again if the consequences just stop. But it doesn't work like that. You don't get to violate spiritual law, then negotiate your way out of consequences. Facing what got created happens. Reaping what got sowed happens. No shortcuts, no escape routes. Others are going deeper into darkness, trying to find bigger practitioners, more powerful magic, darker rituals, convinced just needing more power to overcome your protection. Not understanding making it worse is happening. Every attempt to harm you adds to karma. Every spell cast comes back multiplied. Every ritual performed digs graves deeper. The entity is having a feast, multiple energy sources, multiple victims who summoned it and now can't control it, feeding off fear, off desperation, off suffering, growing stronger while they grow weaker, and nothing can be done to stop it. Some are experiencing physical possession now. The entity that was supposed to possess you is possessing them instead, taking over thoughts, controlling actions, making them do things they don't want to do, say things they don't mean. Being trapped in their own bodies, watching themselves self-destruct is happening. Others are experiencing mental possession, can't trust their own minds anymore, don't know which thoughts are theirs and which are the entities. Paranoia reaching levels that make them dangerous to themselves and others. Some are being institutionalized, some are being medicated. Some are just suffering silently because knowing no one would believe them exists. Meanwhile, you're being restored. Everything they tried to take is being returned with interest. Energy you lost is coming back stronger. Peace they tried to steal is settling deeper. Clarity they tried to cloud is sharper than ever. Opportunities they tried to block are opening wider. Relationships they tried to destroy are healing, or better ones are replacing them. You're receiving abundance, money flowing from unexpected sources, resources appearing when you need them, people showing up to help you succeed, doors opening that were locked before. This is divine compensation. This is the universe balancing what they tried to steal from you. This is you being blessed publicly so your enemies have to watch. You know everything. You see everyone. You understand warfare. You recognize your power. You're not the person targeted. You're someone created by their attack, someone forged through their assault, someone more dangerous to darkness than you would have been without their interference. You were wanted eliminated because being a threat existed. Now you're an unstoppable force. You were wanted broken because having gifts existed. Now those gifts are operating at maximum capacity. You were wanted destroyed because having a mission existed. Now you're stepping into that mission with clarity, accidentally given to you. That climax that got hit, that point of no return, that's where being stuck is happening for them. Going nowhere fast, can't undo what got done, can't escape the consequences, can't stop the entity from collecting, can't stop your rise, can't stop divine justice, can't stop anything that's in motion now. Their peak got reached, now falling is happening, but you're just beginning. This was your initiation, your training, your preparation for what comes next. Everything you survived qualified you for everything you're about to do. Everyone you'll heal, everyone you'll free, everyone you'll guide, everyone you'll protect. You're ready now in ways you weren't before. People are watching your experience, people who've been through similar attacks, people who are currently under attack, people who need to know survival is possible. You're becoming a testimony without trying, evidence without marketing, proof without boasting, just by living powerfully, just by healing visibly, just by existing successfully. This is bigger than you now. This is about everyone who'll benefit from your survival, everyone who'll be freed by your gifts, everyone who'll be healed by your wisdom, everyone who'll be protected by your prayers, everyone who'll be guided by your truth. Your victory isn't just personal, it's generational, it's communal, it's cosmic. The demon scent did a U-turn, went back to the people who summoned it, started collecting payment in blood and tears and years, and you're walking forward into everything they tried to stop, into purpose, into power, into destiny, into abundance, into joy, into victory. You whooped the demon without throwing a punch, defeated it without casting a spell, won the battle without fighting, just by being connected to forces greater than any darkness, just by carrying protection older than any curse, just by having a bloodline stronger than any magic. Now you walk in authority they'll never have, power they'll never access, purpose they'll never understand, protection they'll never penetrate. You're operating on a frequency they can't reach, living in a dimension they can't access, connected to forces they can't compete with. This is your time, your season, your moment. The spiritual realm shifted in your favor before you were born. The battle was won before war got declared. The victory was secured before the move got made. You were always going to survive this, always going to thrive after this, always going to rise beyond this. Walk in it, own it, operate from it. You're not recovering from an attack. You're stepping into the power that attack revealed. You're not healing from warfare. You're celebrating victory. You're not surviving darkness. You're dominating it. You're not the victim in this experience. You never were. You're the warrior who won without fighting, the champion who conquered without competing, the royalty who ruled without forcing. The demon is doing a U-turn. Your enemies are facing consequences. You're stepping into destiny, and everyone watching is learning the same lesson. Divine protection is real, spiritual warfare has rules, and people connected to Source are untouchable. This is your experience. Own every part of it. This is your power. Use all of it. This is your purpose. Walk fully in it. You whooped the demon. Now watch what happens next.